Okay, I'm doing a little preliminary testing of sound and video before we actually start. So if you join early, we're just testing the sound here. Is it not working? Oh, if there's a little lag sometimes. Wait. Hi. Ooh, it's working, yeah. I have somebody helping me with technology today, so that's really cool. So when you all have comments or need to tell me you can't hear me this week, I have someone who's going to signal it to me that we have an issue, but hopefully, being class number two, there won't be as many technology issues. And again, I thank all of you who were here last week who put up with that. I think many people understand that when you roll something out for the first time, there's bound to be some issues or little blips along the way. That's okay. We learn as we go. So yeah, we have Ella in the background itching her leg. Ella, come here, Bubba. Come say hi. Come say hi to the people right here. She doesn't know where you all are, but here we are. And we are back in core healing massage space. How lucky are we to be invited back here to share this beautiful space? And just a reminder, Jessie Brown is the owner of Core Healing Massage, and she has a brand new infrared sauna, which has been pretty popular already. So if you're interested in trying, I left a link for her website in the video. You can book through the website and get on that list. So, infrared sauna has a lot of benefits to it. Some of those benefits include skin health. It can help with your mood and mental health during this time of year as the sun starts to go away and we move into fall. Also, it helps with muscle recovery, circulation, detoxification. Just feels really good to be in there too. You can mess with the lights, like if you keep changing the settings, it's kind of like a little party. But Jesse usually has some really beautiful, relaxing music. So I'm excited. I'm going to go use it after this class. So, yay, lucky me. Um, Another little housekeeping thing. I just opened a merch store. My friend who owns Silver Screen Design, he set up a store for me today, and we have shirts and sweatshirts. I don't have my Fit Doc shirt on today, but it's the logo on a shirt and it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, that link is also in the video. And in advance, I appreciate any of you who buy and support my little tiny business, and you support him as well. So really cool. I would love to be out in the community and see my logo somewhere. What else do I have for you? Oh, yes. Last little thing. Again, this is a free class, but I accept donations. Whatever your heart feels is valuable or whatever quantity you want to give, if at all. Again, you being here is a gift to me, and I just appreciate your presence. What that says to me is you value my guidance, and to me that's a huge compliment. But if you're feeling compelled, my Venmo is in the links. So without further ado, it is 6:31, and I think so far technology is going well. And if you have any questions or comments, please send them in, and my support is going to pass that along for me because I can't see it while I'm recording, which is another little downside to this. But I'm so grateful to have her here with me. So for those of you who were here last week, we went over a lot of stuff. It got pretty in depth about what the core and the pelvic floor are and how they function inside of us. And a lot of people, when they think of core, we're going to do a quick review, really quick. When they think of core, mostly think of your abdominals, right? But when I say core, we're talking diaphragm, abdominals, back muscles, pelvic floor. And if you picture all those muscles coming together, it's kind of like a canister. And the pressure system in your canister is really, really important. So, pressure management is something we're going to get into as well as we go along in this 12-week series. But just a reminder, when I say core, that's what we're talking about, this whole part of you that makes up everything. Now, think about this. If you weren't stable in this area, these long appendages that attach into your core wouldn't function as well either. So, when I say that core and pelvic floor strengthening and coordination and function also help with back, hip, shoulder pain. That's why, because if this isn't functioning and stable, then these attached aren't going to function correctly, and you can get some dysfunction and some pain. So next thing I want to review with you all is proper breathing mechanics. That is kind of the foundation. That's how we connect to our core and our pelvic floor in a coordinated way. It's through our breath. So again, the diaphragm's the breathing muscle. And so when we use our diaphragm to breathe, we also allow the deep core system and pelvic floor to correctly activate and relax when it needs to. So let's go over that really quickly now. For you all at home, for positioning, why don't you all lie down on your back with your knees bent, and we'll start there. I'm going to stay in this position just because it's easier for me to see the video. But I want you all at home to lay on your back, knees bent, get comfortable. And we're going to go over the breathing mechanics and getting everything to warm up and be ready to progress tonight. Okay, so just a reminder about the breathing. When you inhale, so when you take air in, your diaphragm is doing the work to expand your rib cage and pull your lungs down with it. So when you inhale, you actually should be getting really big through this area. Your ribs are a cage. So 360 breathing forward, out, into the back. Big inhale. Let's all do it together. Get really big through the rib cage. Let it all go. Exhale, just normal out the lips. No contracting yet. We're working on just lengthening and loosening up all the muscles around the core. Big inhale. Exhale, let it out through the lips. Now, one hand on your chest, one on your belly. What I want you to do on these next 3 inhales is try really hard not to let the chest hand move. You're doing some tactile cueing to your lower belly to expand down in the lower area. So big inhale, send the air down deep, let it all go. Exhale. On this next inhale, really tune into your pelvic floor in the bowl of your pelvis. See if you can feel those muscles lengthen and kind of melt away. Big inhale. Relax into the pelvic bowl. Let those muscles melt away, lengthen. Exhale. Visualize the pelvic floor muscles, again, kind of sitting in the bowl of the pelvis like this, literally moving away like a hammock, like sinking down. If you were to sit in a hammock, that's what the air is doing. Lengthen. The pelvic bones are moving away from each other. One more big inhale. Exhale. Okay, we've lengthened and relaxed kind of the muscles in that area. We talked about last time why it's important to have your muscles lengthen, because if your muscles never lengthen, they can't contract. So you must lengthen. Like a rubber band has elastic property. The more you stretch, the more it can snap back. Your muscles are similar. So the more elastic property you get, the more you can contract and pull in. So let's talk about how to contract the deep pelvic floor and core muscles. So what I want you to envision is this deep corset muscle. That's your deep abdominals, your transverse abdominis. That muscle literally wraps around you like a corset, your spine forward into the pelvis, into the rib cage. That's your stabilizer. Envision that. It's the deepest one, basically holding your organs in, if that helps. So think about that muscle. And then that muscle has connections into the pelvic floor. So they're going to contract together. It's going to be a pelvic floor contraction, then a deep core contraction. So again, we're all on our back still, knees are bent. And you're going to do a really big inhale, let everything expand. On your exhale, you're going to do a gentle Kegel. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Ribs are the last things to come down and in. So big inhale, expand everything. You can sit in other positions when you're doing the breathing. So for all of you at home, keep practicing your inhale and exhale. But when you're practicing this, you absolutely can be in other positions. The reason I start lying down on the back with the knees bent is because with the knees bent, it puts slack on the system. Like this, your pelvis is pulling your abdominals with it. So it's a really tense system. Here, you have some slack on your hip flexors, on your abdominal muscles. They're easier to find. And the other reason to be in this position is it's a gravity minimized position. And what that means is, with the pelvic floor situated like this, when you're sitting up, gravity is exerting its force straight down, the organs, everything's heavy on the pelvic floor. But when we're in this position, it offloads the system and it's easier to find and contract, take some pressure off. But long-winded answer, yes, you can do it sitting, you can do it standing. It just makes it slightly harder. You can do it in hands and knees, which we will be doing. But for now, in the preliminary stages of our exercise class, we're starting from our foundation. So very, very good question. I love that question. Let's do three more breaths. Big inhale, exhale, pull everything up and in, pelvic floor, deep core, blow the air out. At the end, really pull it down and in. Big inhale, exhale, pelvic floor contraction. Push all that air out. One more big one. Exhale. Beautiful. Again, this is super foundational. So practicing this and getting the coordination and the contraction is really, really important. Okay, now let's challenge the system. We're going to be mostly on our back tonight. So get comfortable. First one we're going to do is lower trunk rotations. Now, we don't need to coordinate your breathing with this. This is just going to kind of loosen up your pelvis and your hips a little bit. So feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And then you're just going to rock your knees left and right. Big motions. Your lower back does go with a little bit. You might be feeling a little bit of a low back massage while you're doing it. But the goal is to get more of the mobility coming from the hip joint, the ball into the socket. So when your feet are wider, you can get that rotation going. So for me, I'm noticing when I have my legs going to the right, my left hip is a little tighter. So what I might do, if that's something you're noticing, or maybe it's your right side or whatever, is I might stop there and hold it, and then I might do, or I will do, a deep breath into that area. I can send air and relaxation into that area with a big inhale. So closing my eyes is helpful for that visualization for me, but take a moment and breathe into some tight areas if you're feeling it. Every body is different. Symmetry is not a real thing in the human body. Having some asymmetries and tightness on one side versus the other is completely normal. Identifying them is helpful, and then you get an opportunity to work on them. Okay, next, bring your feet back into shoulder width apart, and then we're going to do some pelvic tilts. We're going to do this in coordination with the breath. So, what a pelvic tilt is when you think of your pubic bone kind of at the bottom of your pelvis here. You're going to think about that pubic bone pulling up towards your head. Now, it's not a huge motion and it's just a simple rocking motion at your pelvis. Now, when you pull up, I want you to do it on your exhale because that's when we contract the system. So you're going to inhale, exhale, pull that pubic bone up. Your spine flattens, your deep core is doing it. Now, be very careful that you're not overusing your glutes to help because your glutes are a posterior pelvic rotator. I want the motion to be more from your abdominal muscles. The rectus abdominis does attach into the pubic bone, so really think about your abs pulling that pubic bone up. So big inhale, exhale, pull that up and in. Inhale, reset. Exhale, pull it up and in. Do five more. It's such a subtle motion, but wow, we're really isolating and finding these deeper parts of us that may have been sleeping for a little while. So I'm glad that we're really taking our time and getting the foundation down. Couple more. Okay, hope you all are doing well with these. Next, we're going to do our ball squeeze that we started last week. So we're kind of working our way up. We're starting in a similar area and getting muscles to activate as we move around and up. So this one is going to be same position. Knees are bent, stay on your back. We're going to get a ball, a pillow, a yoga block, something between your knees. Okay, now, reminder of how we did it last time. You're going to squeeze the ball on your exhale. So we're continuing the pelvic floor and deep core, but we're adding in another element. The adductors or the groin muscles. They connect into the pelvic floor. So if you remember from last time, overload principle, when we activate muscles that have fascia connections into your pelvic floor, we help strengthen that area by using other muscles, which is so cool. So let's do 5 of them. You're going to inhale. Nothing's contracting. Everything's relaxed and lengthening. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Pull it all up and in. Feel that groin muscle helping. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze the ball, pillow, whatever you have. Pelvic floor, deep core. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, relax. It's a lot to coordinate. So take your time, be really intentional, really create that mind body connection. So important. Your nerves are what fire your muscles. Where do your nerves get signals from? Your mind. So when you think about the area and what you're contracting and what you're doing, you're creating nervous system connections, and those muscles are more likely to coordinate and activate when they need to. One more. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Pull it all in. Excellent. Let's keep the ball. Let's add another muscle group. So lots of coordination going on here, but waking everything up. But think about it. As we're building, we're getting closer to what functioning is. When you walk, you know how many systems are activating when you just take a step? So this sounds or seems, so simple, but we're kind of building on it and creating more complexity to eventually get to a point where during functional tasks, all these systems are going to activate on their own. So the next one is a bridge, and this one's going to get your glutes to help out. Glutes also have fascial connections into the pelvic floor and a very important pelvis and hip stabilizer. So finding your glutes and making sure it's not your low back muscles doing the work is really important. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, reset, relax everything. Big inhale. On your exhale, you're going to lift your pelvis up, really squeeze your butt muscles, squeeze the ball. Oh, that's a lot of muscles trying to help out. Pelvic floor, deep core. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Glutes, groin, pelvic floor, core. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Make sure you're not feeling it in your low back. It's all glutes. And lower. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Groin, glutes, pelvic floor, deep core. Inhale, lower. Let's do 3 more on your own time or follow me. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 1 more. Best one. Get all those muscles firing. And lower. Ah, nice. Hopefully you all feel your glutes. When you really activate them and wake them up, they should be a little, you should feel a little bit of a burn. Okay. Let's challenge the core a little bit more. So you can get your ball or whatever. We won't need that again. Two variations we're going to practice here. So, like I said, your core system, this is your foundation. If this isn't strong and stable, these aren't going to move very nicely. So, before we move or start working on moving our arms and legs on a stable core, make sure before each time you move that this is your priority, the exhale and the stabilization. So what we're going to do is just a simple march, and we're going to alternate the legs because that creates a rotary force at the core. Believe it or not, as you lift one leg, the opposite side has to stabilize. So now we're challenging the core subtly in a rotation capacity. So on your exhale, you're going to do an inhale to always set. Exhale, lift one leg, lift and lower it, sorry. Inhale, reset. Now the opposite leg, exhale, lift and lower. Be super intentional. So as you lift, your pelvis isn't moving. Your hip joint is what's moving. It's the ball in the socket. Pelvis doesn't move at all. That's the goal here, is that you're so stable that this pelvis doesn't move as you're lifting and lowering. Sometimes you'll feel the pelvis rock in this direction when you lift and lower. Try to make that more subtle. Don't let it do these huge shifts of dropping down and lifting like a rotation as you lift and lower your leg. Don't let it arch. Don't let it tilt. Once you're locked in, you're staying neutral. So you're going to inhale, reset. Exhale, lift your leg. Lower it on the exhale too. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lift and lower. Pelvis is super stable. Let's do 8 more total, 4 on each leg. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lift. 4 more. You might notice on the lowering, it's actually harder to control the pelvis. As you lower, the weight of the leg wants to pull the pelvis with it. Don't let that happen. So once you're locked in place, keep that exhale, keep it tight. Nothing moved in here. It's the ball in the socket moving. Okay, very good. Let's try a similar movement, but it's a little more challenging. We're going to start in, this is a dead bug position. What is this called in yoga? I think it's called something. I don't remember. Anyways, what you're going to do now is you're going to stay in this position, and this is your home base. You're going to exhale, lower the leg, lift it on the exhale as well. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lower the opposite side. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reset. Exhale, lower. Let's do 4 more on your time. Oof, when you slow it down, I'm feeling it. It's kind of shaky. My pelvis really wants to rotate, but I'm not letting it. Okay, I think that was 4 more. I'm a really bad counter. Okay, so that was a good progression from last week. We're going to end with a little bit of relaxation and kind of stretching and I guess a little bit more activation. So the first one for cooling down and just kind of getting some good motion going in different areas. The rib cage is really important that you have mobility there for function. The rib cage, believe it or not, gets really, really stiff on people. And quite frankly, that area should have a lot of mobility, but it doesn't. We get very rigid and stiff in our society because we do a lot of forward and back movement. We lose rotation. We don't play as much. We don't have lateral movements as much in our life. So it's important to work on that area because if you lose mobility in your rib cage and your mid back, you're going to be asked to find mobility in other areas, low back and neck. And those are actually not mobility areas. Those are supposed to be our stability areas. So a lot of people get neck and back pain because we're asking those areas to be more mobile and less stable because we lost mobility in our mobility section, the mid back and rib cage. So what I want you to do is lay on your side, either side, knees are bent. And you can take your bottom hands and hold your bottom knee if you want, or it can be out in front of you. This is the open and close book stretch. It's probably my favorite thoracic mobility stretch ever. And if you've worked with me, you know I make people do this one a lot, and they always tell me it's their favorite too. So what you're going to do is on your inhale, you're going to reach all the way to the other side of you. Your head and neck go with you. You're going to do one big exhale, and then you're going to close the book. Do a big inhale and open. Exhale, big inhale and open. Big exhale. When you exhale, really pull those upper ribs down and away from your shoulders. That'll hit your pecs and really get your neck muscles to stretch away from you. So, in this big open chest position, big exhale and pull those ribs down. Close the book. Inhale, open. Big exhale. Close it. Let's do three more. Big inhale. Exhale. Close. Two more. Inhale, open. Exhale, pull your ribs down. Close. One more big one. Inhale. Exhale. Close. Roll on to your other side. Let's do 8 on the other side. Again, you can hold your knee if you want. That'll create a bigger stretch, or it can be out in front of you. Doesn't matter. You can use a pillow if you need under your head. Big inhale, open, head and eyes and everything follow. Oh, Ella's doing downward dog. Close the book. Inhale, open. Exhale. Pull your ribs down and away. Close the book. Inhale, open. Close. Open up. Big inhale. Exhale. Pull the ribs down. Close the book. Three more. Big open inhale. Exhale. Close the book. Two more. Close. One more. Big one. Big inhale. Reach, 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 reach. Exhale. Big. And close. Beautiful job. Okay. Hands and knees. We're going to do a little cat cow. This is a really nice mobilization technique. And this one is going to actually activate pelvic floor and core. So, okay. So when you get into your hands and knees, and if you can't tolerate hands and knees, you can do a modified version in sitting. Um, it'll look a little bit like this in sitting. But I'm going to do the hands and knees version first, and then I'll jump into the sitting one so I can remind you how to do it. But for those of you who are joining hands and knees, when you get yourself all set up, I want your hands directly under your shoulders. If your wrists don't tolerate this, you can try fists. If your fists don't like being directly on the ground, what you can do is get barbells, and you can hold onto barbells, and that's a nicer neutral position for your wrists. But this is the regular version where your hands are directly under your shoulders, hands on the ground, knees are directly under hips. So the cat cow, we're going to go into cow first. And on cow, you're going to do a big inhale. So cow is when we arch and look up. Inhale. And then you're going to exhale into cat and really tighten up your pelvic floor and core. Push your mid back away from the floor. Pubic bone going up towards your head. Inhale into cow. Lengthen the front of your neck, really reach. Exhale, cat. Pull that pubic bone towards your head, lift up. Inhale, cow. Reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. Exhale, pull it all in. Inhale, drop that mid back in between your shoulder blades. Exhale, cat. Push your back away. Now keep rotating through that. I'll show you the sitting version. So I could be in a chair right now. So you're going to do cow, inhale, exhale, round it all out, blow it all out. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Beautiful job. If you need a few more, go ahead and go through it at your own pace and your own time. I personally think that feels really, really good, especially at the end of the day. Great way to get that mid back moving. So, just a reminder when you go into cow, really think about that mid back area going in between your shoulder blades. Like let it drop in between there. Get some range of motion there. And then with cat, push it away. Really get that mobilization going in through there. Okay. Last one is the butterfly stretch. You can do two variations. You can either go back to lying down and just drop your legs out, or the sitting version, bottoms of your feet come together, and your goal is to let those knees drop, keeping a tall spine. If you need to, you can put your hands out further up the legs and you can push down on the knees a little bit. But I want you to be really intentional about your breath in this position. This is a position that actually opens up your pelvic outlet, and those pelvic floor muscles in that area are getting an opportunity to lengthen and stretch. So, with your big inhale, really send the air down into the pelvic bowl and picture those muscles melting away. Let go of any tension you've been holding for the whole day. These adductor muscles get really tight on people. Let those go. And if you need to, and if you have them, you can put yoga blocks under your knees, and that'll create more support, which will allow you to let go a little more. Because, quite frankly, when we hang out in this position, your muscles might fight you a little bit because they're thinking, oh no, I don't want my knees to flop out to the side. So, if you put something under here, maybe some pillows or yoga blocks, it gives your body permission to kind of let go of this area even more. Let's do 5 deep inhales, sending the air down into that open space. Exhale normal, just let it all come up and recoil, no forcing. We're working more on the lengthening and relaxing. Big inhale. Exhale, really just let everything go too. Use each exhale as an intention to blow off some steam, literally. Think about something you need to let go of today. I don't know if any of you are into numerology, but today is the ninth day of the ninth month in a 9 year, meaning 2025 adds up 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 to 9. So three nines in a row is a pretty energetic day of release and let go. So seems super awesome and appropriate that we get to do that at the end of this class. Let it go. Hmm. In your own time, you can come out of that. If you need a few more breaths, please take that and do that. So, yeah, that was class number two, and we went through a lot. Um, we progressed some of our exercises from last time. We built on them and made things a little bit more complex. The bridge where we lift our butt up used more muscle groups. So we started with isolating some of the muscle groups that were involved in that, and then we added on each time. So being intentional with your exercises and activating the right muscle groups is really, really important. The body's really cool in a sense that it's going to find a way to function, but it might not be doing it in the most efficient way. So when we bring it back home and really isolate and find those little muscles that have been sleeping, as I like to say, or just kind of taking the back seat while the other muscles do the work, they're like, that muscle's doing the job. Why do I need to show up? So, kind of going back to foundation is really helpful. And that's why this 30-minute class on Tuesdays is going to be a slower build, but I think it's going to be really, really insightful for you to connect deeper to your body. So, yeah, I'll stay on here for another 5 minutes or so if you all have questions. I can see them tonight or get told that there are questions, so it's really cool. Ask me anything, honestly, even if it's not related to this. I'm happy to just chat with you and talk to you all. I'll tell you a little story while you all are thinking about questions or comments. So this shirt has some meaning to me, and I don't know if any of you have experienced this before, but have you ever had something just kind of drop into your brain as an idea or something that you're being called to do? Well, I would say about a week and a half ago, universe dropped something right into me, and it said to me, Kayla, you need to go do this. And guess what I was called to do or motivated to do? I don't know if any of you have seen the social experiment online where someone stands outside and offers free hugs. Well, I did that this past Friday at Gallery Walk and literally wore a shirt that said free hugs. And I had a sign that said, just here to spread some love. And I can't tell you how incredible that experience was. I was scared out of my mind, actually. I had a lot of anxiety about it. I talked myself out of it probably 8 times that day, but decided it was a growth opportunity. We don't grow unless we get uncomfortable. And I got really uncomfortable, but I stood there and it was very well received. And I gave out free hugs for 2.5 hours, probably 80 to 100 hugs. I didn't have a clicker. I wish I did to count them. But the stories I got from people were just really heartwarming. Some of the people were just saying, I really needed this tonight. Um, and it really touches your heart to be able to heal or help or bring a smile or anything to someone, just even for a moment in time. So I left feeling on cloud nine. So from a health perspective, I don't know if y'all knew this, but there is research around how many hugs a day we should get. And 8 hugs a day maintains your health status. 12 hugs a day improves your health status. So if I took 86 hugs, I think that'll get me through, what, 9 days? That's kind of cool. Put it in reserve and take it out as I need. Um, but yeah, it was a really cool experiment. And, the other reason I did it is I don't know if any of you are feeling this in our society and our culture lately, but we're very disconnected in a world that is very connected. Right now I'm connecting with 12 of you, and that's beautiful. I love this that we're able to do this. But we're sacrificing more human connection in terms of touch and being present and, you know, getting that experience as humans. So that is the other thing I wanted to bring that day is just bringing back the element of human connection. So that's another part of my new mission. Yeah. Any questions? Hugging strangers was hard, but once you hugged like 25, the rest it didn't feel any different. I mean, at Gallery Walk where I was standing, it was a very friendly crowd. There were a couple people who had a couple beers. They were harmless though. They were totally fine. They were one guy wanted me to hold and hug his little Chihuahua dog, so that was cool. He's like, can you give what was this Cheeto? Cheeto? I think his dog's name was Cheeto. No, Queso, not Cheeto. Queso, can you hold Queso and give him a hug? I was like, sure, absolutely. So my calling to you all. I got a couple. 999 numerology day. Let go of something tonight. Let it go. Something that's bugging you, bothering you. Like just disconnect that cord. Let it go. My other calling to you is do something that makes you uncomfortable. You will, if you can be brave enough to do it, you're going to feel incredible after. All right, everyone. So the important links are attached to this video. We've got the merch store. We've got Jessie's clinic if you want to do infrared or a massage with her. We've got the Venmo link. And what else did I put? Oh, I put a fun one on there. I've been making some pumpkin muffins. So a treat to you all is my favorite pumpkin muffin recipe. They're very healthy and very delicious. So enjoy. I am so grateful for you all to be here, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Same time, same place. We're going to keep building on what we're working on. If at any point in time you need me or have questions, please reach out. Happy to answer. Take care, everyone.